God's Pharmacy. Black walnut for raging fungal infections, 20 types of sage for colds and flus, fennel for the ulcers, wormwood for the liver
pharmacy
flush.
sign, right?
No
But
pharmacy
it's all
sign. It's all here. This is just one of the areas that I could come to any time in my clinic where I needed healing plants.
So let's talk about herbs
Right.
so everybody knows how to make their best choices to heal themselves and their family. In fact, what I'd like to do now is bring out 10 herbs that if everybody could have in their house, these 10 herbs, they can heal anything. They'll have all the herbal knowledge
Like
they
the
need.
10 Commandments?
That's right. These are the 10 herbs. I'll even give them a couple bonus ones, but these are the 10 herbs for no family, no household to be without.
I see Sandy over there in the corner of my eye. Come here. You need to know this, too.
Hey, Sandy.
Come here, honey.
Hi, Charlie.
Hey.
I wasn't going to miss this.
Oh, good, good. You might be the one out finding half these things I'm talking about.
Very, very likely.
Educate us, Richard.
Yeah. Okay. Number one.
Well, that's important now.
Cayenne. Cayenne is the number one herb that everybody has to have in their house. Not only is cayenne the greatest, most important first aid herb, it could save their life or the lives of a family member. Any area that gets sick is blocked off from blood flow and circulation, so we need to stimulate the circulation of the body. So what everybody needs to have in their house is cayenne. We have cayenne peppers of all shapes and sizes here. These are jalapenos. Most of these you can find in your grocery store. These are fresh Thai chili peppers here, and habaneros. Over here we have some serranos, and you can see them.
Oh, those are the hottest.
Oh, these are pretty hot. These are pretty hot. They're even going orange and red.
Do you mind?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, daring man. Daring man.
I can take it.
Do we have any water? No, we don't have water either.
Here are other types of chili peppers, nice hot red peppers. So people can have fresh peppers in their house.
But they're not fresh all year round. So
No.
what do we do?
Listen,
Produce departments they are.
yeah, you know.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I do the shopping, remember? You can get apples year-round. You can
Yeah.
get
Okay.
oranges
Okay, we can do
year-round.
So people need to, ask their green grocer if they can supply them with the hottest cayennes. The hotter, the more medicinal. B, if their green grocer doesn't have them, go to an ethnic area of town, somewhere where there's people that are living, maybe Africans, Mexicans, people that are living equatorially. They have these peppers, they use them in their food naturally. Another way that's important is having a preparation of cayenne, like a cayenne tincture.
You're going to show us?
Richard, some of our viewing audience may not know what a tincture is, so later on, let's demonstrate how to do it.
There are some advantage to having a preparation. If someone's having a heart attack, if someone's having a stroke, if they've gone into shock, you can bring them right out of it with cayenne pepper. I had a man come to my clinic, and this man came into my clinic, and I didn't know he had arrived. And I asked my secretary out here in Malibu at my clinic, I said, has Mr. Smith arrived? And she said, he's late. And about a half hour later, I said, have you seen him yet? And she said, no. And she peeked out and she goes, well, I see his car in the driveway. We went out to his car, and he had literally died. His heart had stopped, his face was gray, his lips were blue. And I saw he had had a heart attack and died in his car. I drugged him. I drugged this man by his shirt and coat right out through the window of the car so fast. I always had a bottle of cayenne in my pocket. I started putting numerous dropperfuls of cayenne in his mouth. Before his heart even started beating, his face turned red. It dilated the blood vessels.
God.
His face turned red. I started CPR. They took this man to the hospital. They couldn't believe that he was able to be revived without a defibrillator. So right here, you have a defibrillator in a bottle. That's cayenne tincture.
That's something to remember.
Oh, it's amazing stuff. If someone is seriously ill, cayenne is, think of the blood when you think of cayenne.
Okay.
Also, if someone's had a stroke, I had more than one patient have a stroke in my office while they were there. They were in such bad health. Cayenne immediately stops the bleeding, reduces the blood pressure.
absolutely incredible.
Oh, in the old days, they used to pack this in bullet wounds in the Wild West to stop the bleeding. If someone cuts themselves, they can put cayenne powder right on the wound, stops the bleeding. You'll see in 2 or 3 days, you probably won't even have a scar on the area, and it'll be healed.
No kidding.
Cayenne pepper, whenever you're thinking of an emergency, someone's cut themselves, you can put it on the wound, put it in your mouth. Heart attack,
We're
stroke.
going to have this in our house from now on then.
That's
but what do
right.
we do with these? You said put the powder in the wound. Do we?
That's
make
right.
it?
You can chop these up and just dry them. Just lay them out on your counter or on a piece of pure cotton cloth and just let them dry. Or someone has a food dehydrator, you can let them dry.
Okay, so we dry them.
And then you just put them in a little coffee grinder, one of those electric ones, and you can make your own cayenne
And keep it in
powder.
little containers.
Absolutely.
Keep it there.
What about if people start to use some of these herbs? A lot of people really enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
And start to get healthier every meal
Absolutely.
they eat and
That's
start
a good idea.
incorporating them into your diet and food.
You can never use enough cayenne pepper. You can put it into your food. You can put the powder on your food. You can put a pinch of the powder in your mouth. You can use the fresh peppers in your food. There's a lot of ways
So
to use it.
don't save it till you're dead.
No,
or almost
just
dead.
adding it to your daily life is going to increase your circulation. And remember, we talked about prevention, keeping you healthy before something goes wrong.
You know, Richard, I'm thinking a tincture of this, wouldn't that be great to keep in the car, maybe in the office? Because I'm not just thinking about me. What if you see someone fall to the ground?
I learned as a doctor, I never went anywhere without a bottle of the tincture in my pocket.
Even when you went out socially?
In my right pocket, a bottle of cayenne tincture. In the glove box of the car, cayenne tincture, cayenne powder in a little Ziploc baggie.
Okay.
In the trunk of the car, in the back of your motorcycle.
It's part of your
in your
part of your
office
life.
drawer. Absolutely. This is one that you're going to use the most in any emergency. You want to have it everywhere with you. Everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do it.
I like to do things myself.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I grow these? I mean, I live, in Virginia.
Sure. Well, do you have an agricultural degree?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, we're out of luck. Oh, gee.
Absolutely. They're so easy. In fact, you don't have to grow them. They'll grow
Well,
themselves.
what about if you live in an apartment? Can you do this in a sunny
In
window
a pot
box?
and a sunny window. These are in the Solanaceae family. They're one of the easiest plants to grow. They grow rapidly.
Oh, that's great.
All types of peppers. So you can grow your own chilies. They're beautiful.
We could
they're
grow some of these, maybe,
ornamentals.
huh?
They're beautiful. Oh, absolutely. Any one of these you can grow easily at home. 80 to 90 days, boom, you have your own chili peppers. You could even keep them going all year round.
What do you think would happen if every family in America listened to what you're saying today, and they really did it? They got cayenne and they used it.
Probably save somewhere between 200,000 and 500,000 lives a year. Absolutely. Number one cause of death, heart disease, secondary strokes, some type of blood flow blockage. We'd be saving our friends and relatives.
This should almost be the American fruit.
Absolutely. It should be part of the American flag.
A lot of people, my problem, and I think a lot of people's problem, is their upbringing was not peppers. It was
That's
not
right.
hot, spicy
That's
things.
right.
And at first, Sam had to get me into this.
That's
you know,
right.
like just 2 or 3 drops, okay,
Yeah,
honey?
yeah.
Or just a little. It was
Yeah.
just put in your scrambled
Start
eggs.
I couldn't stand the timidity.
If you're not used to it,
You get used
start
to
out
it.
with a
And so
little
she started
bit.
a couple drops, and what are you
started with a
up to
little
now
bit.
in that tincture?
Oh, well, now it's dropperfuls.
Yeah.
But my
She doesn't count
point
drops.
is,
That's right.
your taste buds change and you acquire
right.
a taste
So
for
the-
tasty
some people
food.
say, well, I don't like hot, spicy food.
I said
one
that.
drop. Take
I
one
said
drop,
that.
a pinch, and you work your way up. You work your way up with
And
it.
then you really don't even want to eat bland food.
No,
You
no.
don't.
Oh, once you get used to this,
change.
once you get used to the way you feel. I mean, I used to
Yes.
have so much cayenne.
Yes.
This is one of the herbs I used to save my own life. I used to have cayenne pepper. My beard was red. There was so much in it. And that's when Dr. Christopher and others started calling me Professor Cayenne because I had it all over the place. In fact, I just had it on my hands recently when I went to the bathroom. And I caution people about doing that because it can get very warm in parts of your body if you're cutting and chopping these peppers and then you itch your eye or touch another sensitive area. So these are very hot. That's why they're medicinal.
You know what?
Let me
Go
give
ahead.
you a side effect. You're
Yeah.
talking about side effects. I don't have a disease, and a lot of people are ill, but everyone who has a disease has low energy,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
This This is magic.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
If I could call this another word,
Yeah.
I would call this energy.
Yeah.
Vitamins don't work for her.
No,
We've
they
tried
don't.
all this stuff.
They
okay?
don't.
Yeah.
Energy, and it's instant, and it
And you
lasts.
know what it's called? Blood. This
Yes.
is helping the
Yeah.
blood that carries the oxygen and the nutrients that you could be dead in seconds without.
Mm-hmm.
It's carrying it through your whole body.
You know what she does I think is real cute? And this is her Coca-Cola. When we go to a restaurant,
Yeah.
she gets a glass of spring water.
Yeah.
She puts this in so it looks like some kind of,
Yeah.
like a beverage.
Yeah.
That's what she has.
This is something that all our ancestors used. It's very high tech.
like
It's
charcoal.
called burnt. Yeah, you got
Sure.
it. It's charcoal. It's burnt wood. It's just burnt. This is burnt willow tree. Charcoal.
And this is healthy for you?
Well, let me ask you something. What's in? You have water filters at home. What's inside every water filter?
Well, the same.
Charcoal. They're all the same. Charcoal is the greatest absorber known of insecticides, pesticides, chlorine, PCBs, organic poisons, inorganic
Amazing.
poisons, virus, bacteria. You can take a charcoal filter and use it to filter urine and fecal matter, and you can drink what comes out the other side. They use it in the space shuttle to recirculate so they can live on this material. Let me tell you, this is the greatest absorber of poisons known. There's none better. And all our ancestors knew that when you were poisoned, when you were sick in the guts and intestines, that a dosage of charcoal, a teaspoon put in a glass of water and stirred up, can absorb the poisons before they get to you, before
But then
they
how do
hurt
they get
you.
out? Does this come out of your body?
It absorbs right into this, and then this comes out with your bowel
So
movement.
this, you gotta have it.
Oh, this is
Right?
a first aid emergency. Anytime if someone even poisons themselves or takes the wrong pills by accident, charcoal will absorb everything. You could use the lobelia to vomit first, a high dose of lobelia, a tablespoon every 10 minutes until you vomit, which won't take you very long if you have the right lobelia or a
Okay.
strong lobelia tea. And then once you vomit, get the charcoal in. And I don't care what you put in your body, it won't hurt
That's
you.
a great traveling
Oh,
companion.
Yeah, I was just saying, you
traveling-
travel a lot. You
Oh.
travel a lot more than I have. Have you ever had, well, you got a bad meal on that last trip.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, I've been poisoned in India. I've had Montezuma's Revenge in Mexico, you know, the Mexican hat dance where you're running like this to the bathroom. Believe me, I've had a dysentery, amoebic dysentery, where I was having 30, 40 bowel movements a day.
Well, that's that's total diarrhea.
Oh, I've had poisoning. Charcoal,
and what happens when you
charcoal
use that?
absorbs the poisons, and then we use herbs like slippery elm, and we use herbs
How
like
quick do you
bentonite
feel better?
clay to
Because-
solidify the
How
bowel.
quick do you feel better? Because when you got food poisoning, you get that pain.
No,
you
you
get
gotta-
gas
You don't even
blowing you
want
up.
to drink water.
You know, the first thing I did with my patients when they felt that, uh-oh,
I'm in trouble.
okay, the first thing to do is I would have them make a big quart of warm water, put a juice of a lemon or a lime in it, drink it down, go to the toilet, put their finger down their throat, and get rid of anything
The
that's in
warm
their
water
stomach.
does it, huh?
If there's poison in there,
Just lemon.
get rid of it. Get rid of all the poison first. Then you can start dosages of charcoal. You can use your bowel cleansing herbs, the ones to push things through. Use the other herbs to absorb and draw.
Now, this is crazy. Have you ever used this up the other end? in
Oh,
emergency?
absolutely. And if you're really poisoned, use it in every orifice of your body. The two categories of pooping herbs are the ones to make you go and the other ones to absorb poisons. I have two formulas I made in my clinic. You know them, intestinal formula 1 and
Right.
intestinal formula number 2. I use those more than any other formulas to heal my patients. But you got to remember your bowel herbs. And the same way that you can't live if you don't poop, life
Right.
loses all meaning if you stop peeing. I had a man who had a complete prostate closure, and he said there were a lot of things important in his life, but when he couldn't pee anymore, he said he never remembered any of them. All he thought about was, how can I pee?
Well, that, you know that's never happened. If I would have called you in the middle of the night. But that happens?
Yes.
You mean they have urine to pass?
Well,
Sometimes
can't you die if you cannot
very
urinate
quickly.
I mean, if you
I've
can't
had
poop,
4-year-olds
you
that
can
were
live.
dying. They couldn't urinate. I have
You mean
80
something
years old.
closes off down
The
there?
prostate pinches off the urethra when you have prostate hypergrowth. These will still
And
help
you're
you
hurting
urinate.
and you're cramped and you can't go?
Oh, how about urinary infections of the kidneys and bladder? I'm telling you, I never, ever had a patient that had an infection in the kidneys and bladder that when I used the urinary tract herbs, it didn't take it away immediately. I had a man with leukemia that was so close to death, and he said, look, you can't heal my leukemia, but please get rid of my kidney and bladder infection. And the next day he called me up and he said, you did what no doctor or no medicine can do. My kidney bladder infection is gone. These aren't just sometimes or maybes. These are 100%.
Hit or miss.
Well, what is this?
These are
What is
juniper
it?
berries. Dr. Christopher used to carry these just like this in
Berries.
his bag, in his house call bag. They not only,
Is this what it looks like?
no, these are them here.
Oh,
These
that's
are-
something different.
Yeah, these are juniper
taste.
berries. What's that?
It's nice.
Yeah, they have. You can try one. They have a very
Chew it.
It's pleasant,
piney
honey.
flavor, a volatile oil.
Yeah.
These are juniper berries, and juniper berries have a couple different chemicals in them. One that makes you urinate, it's called a diuretic chemical, and the other one to disinfect your urinary tract.
That's a nice taste to
So
it.
it not only will
Enjoy it.
make you pee more, but it'll stop all kidney and bladder infections. And these are the juniper berries. So many on the market are not blue. You need to get nice juniper berries, but these grow in most mountainous areas of the United States.
You're going to tell us how to make this into something that you can
Absolutely,
take.
absolutely.
Okay.
Richard,
'Cause
I
this
heard-
is exciting.
Oh, tea?
Sure.
We do tea with
you
this?
can make
Oh,
tea,
just a
you can make
tea.
tincture, you can do anything with these herbs.
Oh,
you
tea or tincture, we can do
tea,
that.
tincture, powder. You could put juniper berries. These have an interesting aroma to them. They use them in Europe, and they put them on strong meats that they eat to take away the taste. But we use them for our kidney bladder infections.
Richard, I heard, these know-it-all herb books, they said this is toxic. They said don't use juniper berries. Bad.
Yeah.
That is what they say, really.
How much did the drug companies pay them to say that?
I don't know. I mean, you've heard that. Is it true? It's not
Yeah,
true, is it?
Never. Juniper berries are so safe and easy. And if you build a formula, why not take a little juniper? These are uva ursi leaves. And you know what a third one would be right here?
What?
Corn silk. You buy fresh corn, you pull off that string, that golden yellow to brown straw that's under the husk of the corn, put it on a little cloth in your kitchen and let it dry. Corn silk will make you urinate. Everybody has to have in their house something for infection, okay? Because infection is
Okay.
normal. Viruses, bacteria, fungus, any type of infection, there's the #1 herb in the world, bar none, no matter what anybody says about their favorite, you got it right here. Garlic is the most potent antiviral,
I won't kiss you after I do that.
antifungal, antibacterial, anything that can hurt you. Garlic
But is
will
it
kill
real?
it.
I've heard that. You get the flyers in the health food stores, the anti. But is it really that strong?
It is
Or
stronger.
when you get an infection that's a heavy-duty one, do you really got to head in that car for the ER?
There is research all over the world. Half of the research on garlic has been done on garlic and cancer. Garlic is an absolute killer and antidote for cancer. If you had one herb, here it is right here. Garlic destroys bacteria, fungus. Garlic breaks down tumors. Garlic helps with cancer pain. And this is university medical research all over the world. Okay, garlic equalizes blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, it'll bring it down. If you have low blood pressure, it'll bring it up. This is the greatest heart herb. It'll
And there's
reduce-
I want to point, there's no drug that goes like both ways like that.
Oh, no.
Usually they bring it up or they bring it down.
You can't make a drug that'll, nature works synergistically with your body. Herbs are balancers. Medicines force your body to do
Only
something.
one way, yeah.
Oh, this will lower your cholesterol level. There isn't a better herb that I know of for fighting infection and keeping you
But
strong
no
and
elephant
healthy.
garlic, right?
No. Elephant garlic is a hybrid between garlics and onions, and it's weaker. You need to get good garlic. And garlic lasts. You can have it in your house. Forget the garlic preparations. Forget the garlic oils. Forget anything of garlic in the health food store. Just go out and make sure you always have your garlic in the house.
I just started taking another one for trips. Threw it in the travel bag with
Why
a little
not?
knife.
Little
you know?
garlic, little ginger. Why not? Makes sense to me. You know, you can even make your own garlic oil. Chop up the garlic, pour a little olive oil on that. You can even use that on fungus infections or infections. Here's the other dynamic duo, echinacea. Echinacea, the greatest stimulator for your immune system. So here you have the herb that's going to kill all the bad guys. And here you have the herb that's going to charge your immune system up to kill the bad guys off naturally. This one kills the bad guys on contact. This one makes your body kill the bad guys.
I just remember something you taught me. It kind of comes back to me. You said that sulfur
Yes.
is big in garlic, and
Yes.
that they used to use sulfur drugs.
Medicine
and yet
has-
this
Medicine
is sulfur.
use sulfur for kidney infections, for bladder infections, for infections around the body. Sulfur compounds on the outside. The only problem is it hurt people. Sulfur even killed people. This has 80 organic sulfur compounds within it. One of them is sulfuric acid. That's
Really?
why garlic can burn, and that's why a strong garlic paste we've used as surgery to burn off the skin, tumors that were ready to come off. So this is
Okay.
even a natural healing surgical tool. There's nothing better to have around to kill the infection and the echinacea to boost your body up. But I call these the dynamic duo. The world thinks that echinacea and golden seal is the dynamic duo.
Right.
Golden seal as an herb for bacteria, fungus, and virus is a joke compared to garlic, an absolute joke. We had a letter from a lady. I sent it to you. She was 87 years old. She had a raging viral infection in her lungs and her body, and after 9 months, the doctors couldn't stop it, and she was about to die. She read something we wrote about garlic, and she started taking her garlic, and in 3 days, the viral infection was gone, and she's still alive.
You remember what she took?
Yeah. 47 cloves of raw garlic a day. So when anybody starts wimping on me about garlic, I let them know that an 87-year-old lady could kick their ass when it comes to garlic dosage. You
right.
don't whip out. And if she took 47 cloves and saved her life from a killer viral infection, this is the power of garlic.
Yeah, I like to see that used on all these pneumonia patients now that they say they don't even have drugs
did
for
you know
it,
how many? You know how many children have tonsils because they had tonsillitis so bad their tonsils were touching. They were swollen up like golf balls, and I got them to start their garlic. Some of them even would swallow it in capsules. They'd put fresh garlic in a capsule and take it because they didn't like the taste. But every kid I got on garlic never had a tonsillitis problem. And I just want you to know that my 3.5-year-old son loves garlic,
Probably
eats
no
it all
ear
the time.
infections either, right?
Kids, yeah, no
I mean,
ear
isn't this the big thing,
infections,
ear
no
infections?
tonsillitis. This was a strengthener. It was given to the laborers who built the pyramids of Egypt. They won't even allow this in certain temples around the world.
I love to go ahead.
Not because it smells, because it gives men erections, okay? And they can't meditate when they're sitting there with a boner, okay?
You want to take a bulb?
This is plantain, and this is called Plantago lanceolata or lance leaf plantain.
This grows in people's lawns.
How about everybody's lawn in the world?
I recognize that that's what they make weed killers for.
Everywhere I have traveled in the world, except some of the most worst desert areas, there's plantain. It's in India, it's in China, it's in Africa, it's in Central America.
So they say they can't get it, go to the
growing
park,
through
right?
the runways at most airports
right.
that I travel to.
Yes.
It's in between the tracks at the train station.
And this is a little lowly looking thing.
It's just a lowly little plant.
But
It
it's-
also can have a round leaf. The key to recognizing it is these long lateral parallel veins. But everybody knows that plantain, it brings these seed stalks up. You can mix it up in a blender and use it on the skin for a poultice. It will destroy the infection and pull out bad, like blood poisoning. You can drink the juice to detox. It is an anti-infective herb and an immune-boosting herb.
But it actually pulls, like, even blood poisoning? or
Oh,
something?
yeah. When you have an infected wound, if you have a bee sting or a wasp bite or a mosquito bite, the Indians used to just take a leaf, chew it up into a paste, and put it right on. I've had so many letters from people and so many patients that had a bad wasp or bite sting. They chewed it up and put this on because they saw it right there, drew the poison out, never had a problem with it. Now this is the healer we talked about. Internally, any type of digestive disorder that's burning or irritating, from gastritis to ulcers to colitis to Crohn's disease, this herb puts the fire out.
Some ulcer, Crohn's disease can be, what, fatal even, right?
Oh,
or
absolutely.
non-curable, something
I
like
had
that?
a patient that actually, before they worked the treatment, killed themselves because of the pain and the irritation with Crohn's disease. They just thought, I don't want to live life this way. I'm in too much pain. I had a patient that was having 30 to 40 bowel movements a day with Crohn's disease who came into my office, and the doctors had already done 3 cauterizations inside their rectum
burning
to stop the
something that's
bleeding.
already burning.
I told her to drop her clothes. I tipped her upside down, and I filled her entire rectum with aloe vera. And
mean,
after she got over the shock, she looked up at me and she just went, "Oh my God." When I have people with severe burns or dermatitis or anything, you just lay this right on
That's simple.
cover it with gel. Yeah, well, nature's, so complicated here. Wrap it with gauze. Look at this. Look at this.
It almost
And
forces
when you
something
wake up in the morning, this is gone, and all the gel has been absorbed right into your skin, and there's just this little fibrous membrane here. There is you don't
So
see
she
any
does
other
that.
herbs here, do you?
The next day, you're going to see a difference in her
Miracle.
hand? Really?
Miracle. Guaranteed, Dr.
Why
Schultz. Miracle with aloe vera. You leave it on all night long. Now look at this. Look at this. Look at this miracle.
great.
You can't
That's
make something like
great.
that. But do you see anything else here in this category? No replacement for aloe vera.
It's
Got to
unique.
have.
It's
Got
just
to have
unique.
a.
This is one. Have it in your house. Buy the cactuses. Have it there. Creates miracles. Is life stops when your elimination channels stop. And everybody in their house at some time or another gets constipated.
Okay.
And when the elimination channels stop, the liver backs up, the poisons build up, and that can be the beginning of the fall into a disease, even a terminal
I
disease.
notice when you get under stress,
Oh.
you get constipated.
Or no, you go one way or the other, some people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll tend to get
Diarrhea.
diarrhea.
I'll
Sure,
get
sure. So you
constipated.
need herbs for both sides of
Yeah.
that. These are the first categories. We need herbs to turn the bowel on. 98% of America has stuck bowels, constipation. I found with my patients, I had to turn it up. One of these used to be considered only a laxative for horses, an animal that weighs 10 times
I mean,
us.
one of the herbs?
One of the herbs, and it's called aloes, but it's not the aloe vera. It's a different type of aloes called Aloes spicata or Aloes ferox. The common names are sometimes Cape aloes and Curacao aloes, but the dried gel contains a chemical called amodin, and it's a purgative, a laxative. You can take amodin, they use it in naturopathic school, and they'll remove the intestines out of a dead body. They'll put the amodin on it, and the intestines contract. There's a chemical in these aloes that responds and reacts to the tissue of the bowel and makes it move. So whatever you
Amazing.
eat, drink. See, I had patients come to me, and I needed to get their bowels working tomorrow. Not in a month or 2 months, not wait till they had more fiber in their diet and they were more relaxed.
Because
Tomorrow
you
morning,
had the terminals.
That's right. They were scheduled for colostomies. They were scheduled for major surgeries because their bowel wasn't working. So I had to get their bowel working. And I'm sorry, but the licorice and the carob and the slippery elm, they're all great herbs, but that doesn't do it. The formulas in the health food store, they don't do it. I had to go to horse laxatives to open up my patients' bowels. I mean, I've told you about some of the stories of these people's bowels. I've had people that had 40, 50 pounds of fecal matter stuck inside them, and I'm sorry, a little meditation and some essential oils doesn't move that out. You need herbal roto-rooters.
Well, what's the difference between just going to a drugstore and getting, aren't they strong laxatives that you get in drugstores? Don't they do the job?
No, they never worked for my patients either. Many of them are very lightweight. America doesn't believe in strong laxatives. America believes in the highest rate of colon rectal cancer in the world. That's what America believes in. And all around the world, they use these herbs. And the 3 herbs in this category that all contain amodin are the aloes, the Cape and the Curacao aloes, senna pods and leaves, and Cascara sagrada.
And they have that emodin.
That they all have that emodin. They're the strongest 3. The aloes, the senna leaves and pods, and the Cascara sagrada bark.
Didn't you tell me you had a little baby once that they said the colon, there was no nerves?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
I've had so many people that have come to me who have had, the doctor said they wouldn't even have bowel movements. That particular baby had a disease called Hirschsprung's disease, which they say means there's no nerve impulse to the large intestine at all, and they were going to remove his intestine before it was a year old. And they said it would never have a bowel movement. You've heard all my other stories about the bowels, and that baby had a bowel movement the next day on its own.
Miracle.
Forget dead nerves. There's no such thing as dead nerves when you have these herbs right here. I can get any nerve working again. This is a Dr. Schultz guarantee. I can get anybody to poop. I can get anybody to have a bowel movement. And these are the blessing herbs to do it. There's another herb that the chemicals in this plant, the nutrition in this plant, actually will bind to the heart cells and make a protective coating around them. What that does is if you have a lack of blood flow to your heart, like angina or what happens before a heart attack, it allows your heart cells to actually survive on less blood and less oxygen. And if you do have a heart attack, if it happens, your heart cells won't be damaged because of this protection.
So it's kind of like plexiglass on the heart.
It's unbelievable. This herb, hawthorn berries, binds to the heart cells, is nutrition for the heart cells, will let your heart cells live and breathe with less blood and oxygen. And if you have a coronary, if you have a heart attack, you won't have the damage. This is the protection for the heart. And since heart disease kills more Americans than all other diseases put together, we have to have the hawthorn berries. Anybody that has heart disease in their family, anybody that's had any heart problems, whether it be irregular heartbeat or angina pectoris, anybody with a high cholesterol
Or
level,
even women over past menopause.
absolutely protect your heart.
What is this? The insurance policy?
Oh, it's an insurance policy. You can have it every day. It tastes good. You can make jam out of it if you want.
I've heard of jam.
Hawthorn berries are great berries. You can make a tea. You
Not
can
that
make
hard
a
to get,
tincture.
is it?
No, hawthorn is an ornamental plant. Many people grow it in their yard.
I've had
Hawthorn
questions
grows-
like what kind. They're worried if they miss the kind, the
No,
species.
it's not important. There are many species of it, and people use all of them. Hawthorn berries have pectin and flavonoids, protects the
Can I
heart
eat one?
cells.
Is
Yes,
it-
absolutely. Absolutely. This is the heart protector. The heart
dear.
protector. A lot of pectin in here. You'll find it can get very slimy, and that's why it makes good jam.
It's like a pit.
Yeah, there's a little stone in the middle of it. That's hawthorn berries, the heart protector. Everybody should have hawthorn berries
very mild
in their house.
tasting.
Use it. The number one herb to protect the liver is milk thistle. And milk thistle binds to the liver cells.
Same situation,
and
right?
protects them. It's the plexiglass.
So we
It's a
cover one
bulletproof
organ, then
glass.
we cover the
That's
other
right.
organ.
We got to save the heart for the heart disease and the liver for cancer to protect that liver so it can detoxify the body. And milk thistle does the same thing. So milk thistle is the number one liver herb. And then we have to think about the bitters that flush the liver out. There's 3 herbs that everybody can have. They're the 3 top digestive tract herbs that'll just build you a new life. I've had all my patients with burnout duodenums and bleeding stomachs bless me about these 3 herbs, peppermint, fennel, and ginger. And they grow all over the world. Anybody can grow peppermint. This is a peppermint from my house, and you know where I grew it? Underneath my garden hose that has a leaky faucet, okay? And I don't fix the leak.
Right? You're
I
saying
don't
it's
call
easy.
I don't call the plumber, because peppermint loves water. So find an area around your house that's wet or that doesn't drain well. Plant the peppermint, and then you'll curse me that you ever planted it, because it'll take over.
It's so much better than going to the health food store and getting peppermint seed.
There's
This is
no
great.
replacement.
You know what people forget? They usually put this as a garnish
Yeah.
on your cheesecake.
That's right. Yeah.
Good point.
And you
Add
don't
it
eat
to your
it.
salads. You can make tea out of it. You crumple this up. You can even use it fresh. Pour
It's
boiling
nice.
water over it.
It's
Wow.
really good.
The essential oils in this plant stimulate your
Let's make
digestion.
more peppermint
It'll
seed
remove
with the
gas,
ginger
We
tea.
get home.
cramps, colic, nausea, indigestion, anything that's foul or stuck here, it moves it through. This herb, remember, grow it near water. But another herb, here's California. You've seen it all over any coastal
That's one
area.
I've seen but never known
Oh,
what it was.
It's all over the East Coast, the West Coast, coastal areas of the world. It's sometimes called sweet fennel. If you taste it, this fennel,
Well, it's a little bit like licorice,
it's
isn't
like
it?
licorice. Yeah, some people think it's anise, which is a very nearby neighbor to this, and will work the
Isn't
same
that what they
way.
make pickles with? I've seen, you know,
Sure.
Older
and dill.
people- that's
dill.
it, dill.
And dill is the same family, another
Oh, it
cousin
is.
to this herb. And
That's
these
what I
are
was
the
thinking
flowers as they are now, but then as it dries, the flowers turn into seeds, and these are fennel seeds right here. But just take a little bit of that flower.
Isn't this the one that Dr. Christopher, is it this one used for gas?
Oh, for gas and cramps and colic. I went to see a patient of mine at his office, ran a modeling agency, and he was having horrible gas and cramps.
nice.
And he said, do you have
like it
anything,
better than
anything
licorice, I
that you can use for this? And you know what I
lighter.
did? I saw fennel growing in his sidewalk. I dug it out, I gave it to him, and his gas and cramps were gone in an hour. And he couldn't believe that it was something that grows up out of the sidewalk. I've seen this growing through the parking lot at Dodger Stadium.